my community, it's always been automotive focused. And to your point about men controlling or making up the majority of these boards, there's still new companies in our area right now that they're mostly white men on those boards. And to be honest with you, I've had to find the gem in every company or every opportunity as I'm traveling around the world. I have to find the person who understands diversity, who's looking past my skin color, but looking at the innovation and my thought process and ideas. And I just want to say this real quick. My director over MIT at the Media Lab, Joey Ito, he's Japanese. He happened to experience some of the same things that I did, although he's a man, but he's Japanese. He's on the board of Sony and a lot of powerful boards around the world. And he not only advises or talked to me and was supportive, even when I had some trials on my own of issues. He understood that, and that was very important for me. It gave me hope, because I was like, okay, here's a man, although he's Japanese and he experienced different things, we have a bond, and he understood that. But I've always had to find, within these corporations, the gem. And General Motors just so happened to have a farmer who was an engineer who was the global waste reduction engineer. And so John asked me to speak to that audience, that male audience, and tell my story. So I think you have to be savvy, be willing to fail, to understand how these systems work and accept the reality of them. A lot of people are so hopeful, and I'm not trying to, piss on their parade or anything, but you have to be able to be, your inspiration should drive you, but at the same time, be real about the issues that are out here, but find the people who are willing to help. We can say all day long, like, oh, I got this idea, and I've been in open source my whole life, for 20 years talking about all these issues. But when you're in DC, the lobbying dollars, it's so unbalanced. You have to go outside of the places that, if you keep knocking on a door, knock on 100 more doors until you find the people who can relate to the problem and who are willing to help.
I think also I can add that if you're personally looking for funding, I would suggest to look at those companies or VC firms or private places for funding and identify one or two women. Go and talk to them, tell them your story. Tell them the story and don't underestimate yourself, telling them what you really want to do. So if you need some help, like real help, go look at Ask the Angels. We started this movement about 9-10 years ago. So we start investing in companies led by women, and we're doing a phenomenal job. So I would encourage you to look at that.
I don't know related, but one thing we always work with our entrepreneurs on marketing, we actually lead our marketing curriculum with storytelling rather than marketing, which has been a shift because, we're never, as entrepreneurs, as people outside the mainstream, are not going to be able to compete with big budgets of big food companies. But stories are always unique to you. And I think that it's like an easy thing to forget, but I just think that human piece has a lot more power than it's given credit for traditionally.